Hi everyone. Let's wait a bit, see if anyone joins in. I just wanted to do this sort of last minute because I've seen a video on YouTube which was uploaded just today on the 21st. And this is from um, KGET News, and they have interviewed the chief of police. So this video was uploaded today on their YouTube channel. I'm not sure if the chief of police was interviewed today, but I just wanted to keep you guys updated with what was talked about in the interview. And I am also leaving the link for this interview in the description below, so you can check that out as well. I just made a few notes and let's see what they talked about. So the chief of police was mentioning that they did collect a lot of potential evidence from the property in Cal City. They've, as part of their investigation, they've also questioned multiple people from Bakersfield area and from Cal City area, from the surrounding areas. Also, they have searched in various places, including around 5 miles of desert from around Cal City house. So they are doing the best they can to try and find out what happened with Orrin and Orson. And let's see what else was touched here. So far, unfortunately, they were not able to find out where the boys are, or they have not been able to prove what happened to them. They received a lot of tips from people, possible tips from people who said they might have seen them or even talk to them. But at this point, the police did follow up on all those tips, but they haven't found anything. So none of those tips actually panned out. The chief of police also said that they don't really have any new information they can share. So it's not really sure that they have any information. They might have, but it's possible they are just keeping that to themselves for now as part of the ongoing investigation. So after a lot of people, as we know, a lot of people are really trying to help in finding Orrin and Orson. So they are trying the best they can in terms of searching for them, trying to find clues and things like that. So they've even sent body cam footage to the police. They've sent neighbors footage to the police, and the chief of police and the whole investigative team, they are actually going through hours and hours of footage from received from various people. So they are working on that. Okay, so I know that I spoke in my previous video on Orrin and Orson West case, and I did mention the boarding of the house. And some people are saying that the police boarded the house. Some other people are saying that it was boarded by someone who was hired by the West family. And I've also heard some rumors going around saying that the police actually funded the boarding of the house. So the reporter touched this up with the chief of police, and the chief of police can confirm that the police did not fund in any way the boarding of the house, and they did not board the house. So the West family hired someone to board the house. And like I mentioned in my video, I believe that that person was actually sent by the estate agent the maintenance guy, and he went to the location and he boarded the house. The chief of police can also confirm that the adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West, do not live in the house in Cal City. They have moved from that house and they live now in Bakersfield. However, obviously, for safety concerns, the chief of police did not disclose their location, but they are in constant contact with the West family. And the Trezell and Jacqueline, they can go to that house in Car City whenever they like. It's known to the police that they've been there on various occasions to pick stuff up from the house. The chief of police also confirmed that the police is actually doing spot checking to the house. They just want to make sure, and they keep going back and checking and checking. Let's see here. And it was around a week and a half ago or 2 weeks that the police served another search warrant on the property, on the house in Cal City. And it's confirmed by the chief of police that they actually collected more evidence from the house. The police also brought search dogs and cadaver dogs in the house. Search dogs, I believe that they actually sent the living, sent the boys alive. But the cadaver dogs, as we know from different other cases, they do sense cadaverine, which is from a dead body. So they brought canine dogs, the search dogs, and the cadaver dogs. As we all know already, the search dogs, they sensed the scent of the boys in the house. And it's also confirmed by the chief of police that the police searched every single corner of that house. They even searched underneath the floorboards of the house. They searched the garage, the backyard, the area around the house, the shed in the backyard. So basically they did search everywhere possible. And the house has a cemented foundation. And for those of us who are questioning that perhaps the boys are maybe buried underneath the house, I think that because it's a cemented foundation, it can prove quite difficult to dig. The chief of police, like he said from the first interview that he suspected for foul play from the beginning, he is convinced that someone out there knows something, that someone out there knows where the boys are or what happened with the boys. The chief of police also confirmed after the reporter asked the question that the parents were never in protective custody by the police, and for now they are not looking to take them into protective custody. Yes, and because again there are so many people speculating around this thing that they might be like a hidden room in the house or a hidden space. The chief of police said that they searched absolutely everything and there is no sign of any hidden room or hidden space anywhere in that house. They've searched every single inch of the house and they could not find anything at all. I mean, in terms of finding the boys. So this is the last point that was touched in the interview, And the reporter was asking the chief of police if there will be any arrest made soon, and he replied that he will not comment on that. So I assume they are possibly working on arresting someone very soon. Let's hope that will be sooner rather than later, and let's hope that we will find out what happened with Orrin and Orson West as soon as possible. Hi guys, thanks for joining. Hi Slim Hofa. Hi Just Peachy. Oh, I thought I'm not gonna get anyone here. I'm already 10 minutes in and I feel like I was talking to myself. Just Peachy is asking, where are Trezell and Jacqueline now? Apparently, they are in Bakersfield. That's what the chief of police was saying. They have moved from Cal City to Bakersfield. But obviously, the chief of police does not want to disclose their location. However, they are in contact with them. So do you guys think that Jacqueline and Trezell went back to their apartment in Bakersfield? Slim Hofa, yes. I'm quite sure they are. I think that they are scared. I mean, there's a lot of people angry at them, really. Just Peachy is saying, I wonder why they haven't been arrested or taken into custody. Well, they haven't been arrested. Maybe that they don't have enough evidence against them, or maybe whatever they have, they want to be sure before they take that step. The chief of police was not really clear on the adoptive parents. They are taking everything into consideration, however, but obviously we need to wait and see what happens. Look, I mean, you know that Trezell, he was really into conspiracies, yeah? So it's possible that he has an idea or two of how to try and get away with these things. Slim Hofa is saying the FBI is building a case. They are watching the adoptive parents real good. Yes, I think that they are. Yes, the chief of police even confirmed that the FBI is still supporting with the investigation, and the Bakersfield police. It seems that they are using the Bakersfield police resources for lab testing and for trying to go through all the potential evidence they found and they collected. Yes, just Beach, yes. I'm guessing that's why they moved from Cal City to Bakersfield from the house there. Hi, Robert. FBI is only processing info. Well, the chief of police was saying that they are being supported by the FBI. The FBI were in the search at the house and the backyard as well. So I think that it's a team effort between all the agencies, really. So you see, the chief of police was saying that those boys, it's not possible they are in the house in Cal City. Apparently, they searched every single corner in that house. They also searched for hidden rooms in the house under the floorboards. So the boys are definitely not there, according to the chief of police. Did you guys hear that, as it seems, Trezell and Jacqueline were trying to buy an SUV just a couple of days ago in Palmsdale? Just Peachy, I do agree with you. I don't think they were ever there either. I don't know. I think that something happened to Orson and Orrin in Bakersfield long before they moved to Cal City. And I think the reason why they moved to Cal City was because of that. So they lose the trail, like Trezel said, to get off the grid. Slim Hofa, yes, I have a link for a video which is on AV Watchman YouTube channel. Oh my God, that guy, he is amazing at what he does. I feel like his whole time is focused only on trying to find out what happened with Orrin and Orson. And this video is actually courtesy of another viewer of mine who joined me yesterday in my stream, and he left me a link. Let me just give him or her a shout out. So the viewer which left me this link is L Canton, and I will leave the link in the description below as well. So the video is on AV Watchman website. I'm just going to update quickly the description right now, so you guys can have a look. If you jump to minute 8 or 7:50, something like that. I'm really bad with technology, so I can't add it to this video, unfortunately. But I'll put the link on here in the comments. Here is the link, and also in the description. Okay, let me go through the comments. Robert is saying, I think the Cal City police dropped the ball and didn't act fast enough with enough resources. Well, I don't want to comment on, you know, the police force, but as the chief of police was saying, they are a small police force, so obviously they needed help from others, from, you know, the other police forces in Bakersfield and also the FBI. But I don't know. Do you think that they didn't act fast enough? Just Peachy AV is in Bakersfield now, I think. Yes, I think that I got the notification from his YouTube channel that he's live from Bakersfield. Yeah, I think you're right. Slim Hofa is saying they moved from a gated community to live in a place no one knows them and is nothing but space and land. Very strange. Yes, I have to agree with you. Honestly, out of all places, they went to a place which is just deserted. Honestly, I mean, you see houses here and there scattered, but most of it is just empty. And it's so strange because if you think about it, if you have 6 children and you know you want to move from a smaller apartment to a bigger house, I would think the way I would do it is I would try and find a house which is big enough for the kids, but also you have the, you know, the social life, and you also have, I don't know, like playgrounds and, you know, something where you can have fun, but not move from an apartment in the city to a house in the middle of nowhere, really, in comparison to Bakersfield. I mean, I'm not from the US. I've checked on Google Maps, Google Street View, but it's a really big difference between the two locations. Just Peachy is saying, seems fishy that they are trying to buy an SUV while an investigation is going on. Tons of red flags. Yes, but the main question is here: how did they even afford to buy, if they did buy the SUV? And also, is that really the only thing on your mind when you know your children are missing? Are you jumping and buying an SUV? Seriously? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Hi, JD. JD is asking, are you doing any more videos on the McCanns? Yes, JD, I am doing more videos on the McCanns. I have recorded yesterday, I believe, 2 videos, and they are in process of being edited. So yes, please bear with me. I'm working on that as well. I'm trying to catch up. Robert123 saying they didn't want social life. Yes, I think I agree with you on that. I mean, the kids were not very much outside, were they? Again, I've been watching another video from AV Watchman's channel, YouTube channel, and he had an interview with one of the neighbors of the West family from Bakersfield, from the apartment they used to live in. And that neighbor was saying that even there, he didn't really see the kids. So I'm guessing, I don't know, were those kids always in that apartment inside? Slim Hofa is saying they said they moved to a bigger house so the kids can play in the backyard, but they have never let the kids play in the backyard. Yes, that's very true. Yes, and according to Trezor's interview, yes, that's what he said. Yes, and that's why he told the realtor as well, the estate agent, that that's the reason for their move. Just Peachy is saying, and also no toys or signs that kids were ever outside the yard. Yes, there was nothing really. There was nothing. I mean, I remember I only have a 4 year old, and I remember when I before moving here, when I used to live in the previous house. I mean, that back garden was full of toys, full of things, and I only have one toddler and an 11-year-old. So, you know, without even it happens always when you have kids, especially when you have small children. Sometimes I feel like my house is full of toys only everywhere. Like all I can see are toys. Even the washing machine at one point is considered a toy. So it's very, very suspicious and very strange. There were no toys there. Unless they really cleaned that backyard before they called the police. JD saying, thank you so much. Love your work and this your new studio. You're not in the cold garage. You know what, JD, I'm going back to that cold garage. I will be going back. But at the moment, I haven't set it up yet. So that's why I'm trying to find a corner, a space in the house where my 4 year old is not following me. At the moment, I'm hidden in the bedroom. So yeah, but I will be going back to the same cold garage. Just a different one in a different house. Robert is saying the children were going to homeschool, I heard. Yes, I think that Trezor was covering this in his interview where he said that Jacqueline was homeschooling the children, and also supposedly only he was the one who was earning money from selling his beads, and she was staying home looking after the kids and also homeschooling the kids. So their main income was from adoption and fostering. Hi, Nick. Hi. Welcome. Slim Hofa is saying, yes, it's true. Toys are everywhere. I know, right? Just imagine those Legos, the tiny ones, when you step on one. Oh my God. That's so painful. Just Peachy is asking, what happened to the other kids? It was a total of 6, right? Right? Yes, apparently the kids were taken. I think that they were taken by social services. So they were two foster children, as far as I know. Orrin and Orson adopted, and they're two biological children. As far as I'm aware, they have been taken. Yes, Slim Hofa. Slim Hofa, do you have children? Just Peachy is also asking, I wonder if they were questioned. Well, the reporter did ask the chief of police if they were questioned, and he said that whenever they need information from the adoptive parents, they do know how to get in contact with them. So they know their location. Obviously, they are not going to disclose that. But I think that they are only like asking questions, not anything formal, I don't think. So how about, I've just recorded another video today, which I think I will be uploading the following days. I did an analysis on the interview with Trezell West and Jacqueline West, and I just wanted your opinion, guys. So what do you think is with that rambunctious word? When I heard it the first time, it just stuck in my head. Like, why would you even use that word to describe your children? It's just so strange. Rambunctious. Out of all the words, you use that. Slim Hofa, I have two kids. One is 4 and the other one is 11. So yeah, I'm basically at both of the extremes. So the 4-year-old with the clinginess and all these kind of things, and then the 11-year-old who is going through the preteen phase. So yeah. Robert is saying they didn't care to spend money on those kids. 2 are now in foster care, and the bio kids are with an aunt, is what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard as well. But you see, there are some conflicting information here. From one source, I heard that they are with the aunts or the grandparents, and then from the other source, I heard that they were at one point with the grandparents over the holidays, but then they've been taken into care. So I'm not quite sure. Slim Hofa, yes, I agree, I agree. And also from his interview, when he said the way he said rambunctious, he felt almost like he was angry when he said it. It's like he had an actual issue with those children's behavior. Robert is saying if they had bruises, they could say, well, they were rambunctious. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still find it a weird word to use to describe a child, a toddler. Hi, Maciel. Hi. Thank you for joining from Florida. Oh, what time is it in Florida? Well, I can check that, but I'm just asking. Slim Hofa is saying, good luck with the preteen. I have a teen sister I take care of, and they are a handful. Oh my God, tell me about it. Yes, I know, I know. Just Peachy is saying, I'm tired of hearing parents foster adoptive hurting and or not taking care of their children. I know, I know. It's really, really sad, it is. I mean, I don't agree at all to adopt a child just for the sake of getting paid for it. I mean, come on, they are still children. It does not matter they are adopted or they are your biological children. A child doesn't have a fault that they are gone for adoption. 4:36, okay. Here it's almost 10 in the evening. Robert is asking if you had to bet, were they sold or murdered? I think I would go for the second option. Yeah, I think that they are sadly dead. I think so. Slim Hofa is saying I felt like Trezell would get mad and frustrated when Jacqueline would speak in the interview. Yes, yes, that's true. But also, I've noticed that whenever he was stuttering and he forgot what he needed to say, she was stepping in, as in, sort of like, giving him a cue, like, this is what you need to say next. So he remembers what he needs to say. Just Peachy saying, all children deserve a safe, loving home. I pray we get answers soon. So do I, yes, I do pray that as well. I really do hope so. I mean, the more time passes, the less are the odds that they are found safe. Slim Hofa, yes, yes. And exactly, yes, he was doing just the same. That's exactly what I said in my analysis of that interview, which I'm hoping I will be able to publish tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And I also think that the reason why he put so much emphasis on the fire is because I think that that was the main, the main focus point of the whole story to stick, because then he would be able to. I've realized that he was actually trying to shift the blame from himself and from Jacqueline to the children. That's the reason why they disappeared, because it was so close to Christmas. And so Jacqueline had to be inside to wrap the Christmas presents. And so Orrin and Orson had to stay outside in the cold so they don't see her wrapping the gifts. And because it was so cold, Trezell had to go outside and pick the firewood. And because he had to go outside, he left the back gate open. So it's sort of like, a sequence of events, which, yeah, it had to make sense. So I think that everything started from that firewood, from that, from the being cold, and he needed to collect the firewood. Yes. Just Peachy is saying they both looked guilty on the interview. Their body language was off. Yes, I completely agree. And do you know what? Who Jacqueline reminded me of in that interview? Chris Watts. She was swaying from side to side in the interview. She was clearly nervous. And it was exactly the same with Chris Watts. He was hugging himself throughout the whole interview and he was swaying from side to side. Yes, Robert, indeed, it is really, really sad. There are so many cases which I can't get out of my head. You see, for example, the Chris Watts case. I could never do a video on it because I just cannot describe or talk about the way that he did what he did. I just can't. I can't. It's no. Maciel is saying she was looking around nervous. Yes, she was looking around nervous. And I also think that the reason why they both looked around was to sort of, find those focus points so that they can remember the script that they did before the interview. So I think that they came up with a story and they tried to memorize the story. And when they were about to forget, the sequence of events, they had to find focus point so that they remember. Just Peachy is saying if he was cold that they needed the fireplace on, why were the kids out then? Nothing makes sense. Exactly. And besides, why would you have to wrap the Christmas presents when the kids were awake, for example? Can't you just wrap them when they are sleeping? Or, just use another room or lock yourself in the bathroom or whatever. Even I am wrapping Christmas gifts for my kids, but I never send them outside in the cold to wrap the gifts. It just doesn't make sense. Maciel is saying, of course, they planned the whole time. Yes, they did. And I think that that's why the firewood story and the cold weather story was so important for them. So they can build up the sequence of events. There's the pattern of it's cold, I need to start the fire, so I need to go and collect firewood. At the same time, Jacqueline is wrapping presents because it's close to Christmas, so the kids can't see, so I'm gonna send them outside in the backyard whilst I collect the firewood. But wait, I'm going to forget the back gate open, and at the same time they will just vanish. So it's sort of in their mind, it does make sense. Just Peachy is saying Jacqueline never came out to look. No, she never did. No. I don't even think that she went to look in the backyard or around the house. And even Trezell, how did he look? How did he look? I mean, he went outside, he jumped in the van and he took the van, but he didn't check the surrounding area before taking the van, which again doesn't make sense at all. Slim Hofa is saying, I have to go. It was nice talking to you, Catalina, and everyone else in the chat. Have a good day. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day as well. Take care. Hi, El Canton. Hi, hi, hi. I was expecting you. Thank you so much for the link. I gave you a headache because I couldn't catch the link from the stream I did yesterday. So thank you so much for taking the time to share that with me. I've talked about it here in the live, and I've also talked about the interview with the chief of police, the video from KGET News. KGET News was just uploaded today, and it seems that this is the latest interview with the chief of police. And I was also talking about the AV Watchman video and the SUV. Just peachy, bye. Thank you for joining. El Canton, so what do you believe of the SUV? Do you know if they bought this SUV in the end, or were they just looking to buy it? Maciel is saying the dog smell in the house pick up their scent. Yes, they did. As far as I'm aware from the chief of police explaining in the interview, they did have search dogs with them, which supposedly they pick up the scent of a living person. Yeah. But they also had cadaver dogs with them. And these cadaver dogs, they detect cadaverine, which is the scent given by a body which starts decomposing, so which starts emanating the smell. This process happens after a few hours after death. However, the cadaver dogs, they did not send anything. The search dogs did, which means that at one point, I believe either the boys were in that house or some belongings of them were in the house, and that's what the dogs picked up on. Just Peachy saying, I also think the grandma knows something. Why would 4 kids be with her and not the 2 little ones? Yes, you might be right. You might be right about that. I think that well, in my opinion, I think that the grandparents, they do know something as well. Maciel is saying maybe clothes. It is possible. I mean, I think that if the boys were wearing at one point those clothes, then yeah, it can be. That's what the dogs were picking on. Robert is saying it probably gets colder in the evening because Cal City is in the desert. It wasn't that cold at 4:30, maybe 54 degrees, but at night it gets cold. Thanks, Cat. You're very welcome. El Canton is saying, I don't think they completed the vehicle purchase. I don't know what to think at this point. This case has so many twists and turns. Yes, you're right. It does. It does. I mean, nothing really seems straightforward. I just can't, I just can't understand why would you think about buying an SUV? Your kids are missing and you are thinking about buying a car. Something is not adding up here. El Canton, did you know that the AV Watchman is live from Bakersfield? I just got the notification before I started my live and I was thinking, oh my God, he's live, so no one is going to join my live. Some people are saying that maybe these children were sold. What do you guys believe? Do you think that they were sold? Or something happened, they had an accident, they passed away, and the parents covered up? El Canton is saying, I don't think they were sold. I don't think they were sold either, if I'm honest, no. Although I can't quite make up my mind into all the theories I came up with. I can't decide on one of them. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe they did something on purpose. I mean, you can't really, have an accident when there are 2 boys involved. I mean, when there is only one, it does It can happen, but two boys at the same time, they can have an accident. It's really weird. It is. Just Peachy saying, last I saw he was going into a tunnel near the apartment. All right. I'll have to go and watch his video after. This guy, I keep watching his videos and he's so dedicated. I feel like all he does the whole day is just trying to pursue anything he can and to try and help with finding Orrin and Orson. Maciel is saying, I think they did something. Just Peachy. I agree with Maciel. Yes. Yes, I think that as well. But then on the other hand, I mean, weren't they getting money for Orrin and Orson? Why would they, want to stop getting money for them? Or why did they do something with them? I don't get it. Were they hoping that they can keep it covered up and still get the money? And I've also heard that it's possible social services were due for a visit, and that's why they chose that particular moment to, say that they are missing. I'm not quite sure how often is social services visiting adopted children in their homes. El Kenton, thank you so much. That's really, really appreciated. Thanks for shedding light on this case. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for your donation. It's really, really appreciated. I am trying the best I can. And now I am faced with a few issues here. I am in the UK, in the United Kingdom, and sometimes it proves very difficult to access US websites. So most of the times I need to use the Tor browser. Sometimes I'm not getting access on US websites at all. And yes, it proves quite difficult to try and stay up to date. Did you guys hear about the Madeleine McCann case? I'm only jumping on that because I find some similarities between the two. Yes, it is. It is, yes. And the chief of police was saying that they don't really have much information that they can share with us. So I assume that maybe they do have information, but they don't want to share at this point. Robert is saying, I wonder what two little boys go for if, God forbid, they were trafficked. Also, social services would be using Zoom to visit during COVID. Really? I didn't know that they would be using Zoom. And if I'm honest, I think that's a horrible idea to be using Zoom. Maciel, well, I'm not getting into detail with that case. I am covering that in great depth. So if you want to check out my channel, you will see how many videos I have on that. I just pointed that out because in that case as well, the parents, they never once physically searched for their missing girl, for Madeleine McCann. They were always saying that they were inside helping with the search, but from inside, from being in the apartment, from being on the computer and things like that, which was just rubbish what they said. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. Long story short, with the comparison. And also they've never shown any real emotion, they were just emotionless. And all they did was they talked about themselves, just like Trezell and Jacqueline West are talking about themselves in the interview. Not once have I heard, oh, Orrin and Orson West, they are toddlers, they are little, they are scared, they are cold, maybe they are hungry, maybe they are in danger. They've never said that. A genuine concerned parent, that would be the first thing that they would think and say. What is happening with my child? Is he okay? Is he cold? Is he hungry? Is he in danger? Is he still alive? But these people, Trezell and Jacqueline, they never once mentioned anything about the boys. Yes, exactly. There was no emotion either. That's so, Robert, what do you think of it? Don't you think that it would be perhaps better if they would physically be visiting the homes rather than a Zoom call? El Canton is saying, I don't think Jacqueline and Trezell are intelligent enough to pull this off. Someone had to help them. You know what? I was thinking the same thing, but then also, as I mentioned in my other video, that realtor, the real estate agent that Trezell was very friendly with, where they developed a friendship over the course of 4 months, they did say that he was a lot into conspiracies. So my thoughts were, what if he somehow got inspired by other stories that he's heard, right? And maybe he was thinking, oh, maybe if I do this, it's going to work in a way. Yes, they are not. They are not. I don't believe that they are intelligent enough to pull it on their own. Yes, you're right. But then again, the like you watch a movie and a true crime movie or a serial killer movie, and then you think, oh, so this is how you can hide an accident, or this is how you can hide a murder. All it takes is you watching a lot of these kind of movies, and you sort of you play around with the idea in your head, and maybe if you put it into practice, to you sort of it makes sense. You know what I said in my last interview, in not in my last interview, in my other video, that there are some similarities with him, with this case and the Chris Watts case. And I was also thinking that Chris Watts, when where he disposed of the bodies was in a familiar place to him, so the oil fields, because that was his workplace. He already knew the area, and he already knew how to go about in the area, and he knew when someone is going to be there and when the place is deserted and so on. So I'm thinking that this Chris Watts case happened, for example, I think it was in 2018. It's quite possible that Trezell already heard of it, and maybe he was thinking or planning something around what he already knew, but maybe he was thinking that he's going to do it better without getting caught. I have no idea. If I'm honest, I have no idea. For example, I'm going to go into more detail here. For example, I am in a lot of true crime Facebook groups. I know it's social media, but still, those Facebook groups, they all have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of members. And these members, sometimes they come up with things and they say, they give tips on how you can cover a murder. I'm not saying that this is what they did. I'm just saying that it's possible you can get inspired from various sources, and then when it's your time, or when it's the circumstance where you have to do it, you already have the knowledge. Just Peach is saying, doesn't Jacqueline have a criminal record? I would think the adoption process would be much stricter if she does. Honestly, I have no idea if she does. I don't know. I will look into it anyway. I will. I think that it would be quite difficult if you have a criminal record. Al Canton is saying, I can see your point. Anything is possible. Yes. I mean, I don't, honestly, if I'm honest, I don't see them, being so good in planning and covering without getting caught. So I do think that if they did it on their own without anybody helping them, I think that they will get caught. I don't think that they will be able to stay silent for so long. And somebody, sooner or later, will break because somebody outside of Jacqueline and Trezell knows what happened. El Kenton is saying she does. She has drug charges. And Maciel is saying if you have had background, how is it possible to be adopted? So she's got drug charges. So how come she could adopt then? Yes, precisely my question as well. I'm not really familiar with US law. So I'm not quite sure. So let's say, for example, that Orrin and Orson are deceased, sadly. Where do you think that they would dispose of their bodies? Excuse me. El Canton is saying something is fishy with this adoption. It was fast-tracked for one. The biomom had relatives that were cleared to take the boys, but social services gave them to the West instead. Sadly, just Peachy is saying, sadly, the kids are the ones that suffer. Yes, that's very true. And El Canton, yes, I agree. Something fishy did happen with the adoption. And as far as I know from various sources, that the biomom, apparently her kids got taken away because she was found to be using drugs. But as she's saying, she did use medical marijuana for which she had a medical note. And at one point, she did give that medical note to the judge handling the case, but he didn't agree to take it into consideration. Just Peachy saying maybe the West have some type of connections. I'm not sure, but even watching AV Watchman's videos, even he feels like, there are some false leads given by somebody on purpose just to derail from the investigation and to take you in a different direction than you should be going. El Canton is saying correct, and one of the kids had an injury while she was at work, so they took him as well. Yes, and she was also she was raising the kids on her own, and the kids are of two different fathers, if I understand it correctly. But then also, I find something odd with the biomom as well. I mean, she did open a GoFundMe page, and she says that it was for attorney fees. She's very vague in the description on GoFundMe, so I'm not quite sure what attorney fees that should be covering. I also had another thought. What if somehow the adoptive parents and the bio mom got to an agreement that if they give her back the keys, then they can keep the payments for them? I mean, at this point, I'm trying to think of everything really. Oh, right. So to get money for a lawyer to sue social services, right? So let's see what else. So do you guys have any idea why the police dug up the backyard the way they did with those holes? Like I would think they would maybe remove the soil, but they dug holes. I I was really trying to figure out why they would do it in such a way. I think that that's the same way they dug up the backyard when they were looking for, Lori Vallow's children. Just Peachy is saying, as a parent, I'd be more concerned about finding my children, not lawyer fees. Yes, you are absolutely right. Yes, yes, I do agree with that. And then again, there's another thing where she said that she didn't know that Orrin and Orson were adopted into the West family. Yet she also mentioned that she would visit them at times. And apparently she wanted to give them Christmas gifts, but the West family refused. So I really don't know. It's either that she doesn't know them or that she knows them, but she says she doesn't know them. But then she visited the kids. I don't know. Some things just don't add up. About the whole adoption thing. I was thinking, I know you can't rely on movies, but that's what I do. I watch movies. I don't read books because it's just boring for me to read books. So I've been watching a movie a while ago, and this adoption process thing, it really reminded me of the movie I was watching. I don't know if it's true, but they are these private agencies. Yeah. So El Canton is saying she said she hasn't seen them since 2018. It's very odd to me. I have mixed feelings about the biomom. Just peachy. I wonder why. Yes, I was saying about this. Maybe you guys have seen the movie Orphan Black. It was on Netflix. The story of the movie is very similar to this adoption story. So it turns out that sometimes there are corrupt judges and they take money from private fostering homes. Is that how they are called? Like where the children are held, care homes, let's say, and the children are held there until they are fostered or adopted by someone. So sometimes, because these agencies, they are getting funded by the government, they would be in contact with the judge, and so the judge would get paid for the more kids he would send there. So then those kids would be adopted. You know what I mean? Like the judge to supply more kids because there is more demand. Hi, Lisa. Hi, thank you for joining. Robert is saying you have to be really bad to have your children taken away. Yes, that's true. This was a last minute thing, seriously. I just found out this video on YouTube and I said, okay, let me just quickly do it because I thought maybe it will be helpful for someone to hear about it. I'm quite sure anyway that the bigger channels will be on top of it by tomorrow. So I just wanted to do it as quickly as I could. It's really great to be back. I had to take some time off because of the moving situation, but it's all sorted now. So finally, I couldn't wait to get back on doing more videos. Lisa is saying this is an interesting case, but it's been 4 weeks. Where are the kids? Yes, this is, yes. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because I felt like since I heard of it from the beginning, I felt that something was just not adding up with the parents' story. Just Peachy is saying this could very well be bigger than we think. Well, I'm hoping it's not, because the bigger it gets, then the harder it is to try and figure out what happened. I'm really hoping that this is as straightforward as can be, and that the adoptive parents had something to do with it and they will be found guilty, and the children will be found as well. Although, sadly, it's not really looking that way, is it? Lisa is saying it's strange nobody in the neighborhood has seen them at all. Yes, it's very strange. And that's why I think that they were never in Cal City. I think that something happened to them before they moved to Cal City. And I think that's the reason why the parents moved there. Lisa is saying that Watts case, we saw everything. It'd be good if we seen everything in this case too. Yes, I completely agree. Marcial is saying, I hopefully that doesn't get cold. This case breaks my heart. I'm mom and grandmother. She's 3, break my heart. Yes, I agree with you. I really do hope it doesn't turn into a cold case. Although honestly, if this is bigger than we think it is, it might just turn into a cold case. It depends on how far or how big this thing really is and what exactly this thing is about. Lisa, the Watts case, I wanted to do videos on the Watts case so many times. I just can't, I can't get myself to do it. This is one of those which affected me so badly. Maciel, at this point, we can only speculate. We are not sure. I mean, I for one, do really hope that it's just, straightforward. And it's just a matter of a death and the parents covering it up. But sometimes it can happen that they get so big and it's such a big cover up that you can't get to the root of it, really. El Canton is asking, Catalina, did you watch the Watts documentary on Netflix? Yes, I did. I did. But you know what? The only video I did on Chris Watts was one video where I was actually ranting about him, because the actual case and the actual conversation that should be around this case, I can't get myself to do it. I can't. Lisa is saying, don't do it, Catalina, as it's a crime. Linda done one video on it and she says never again, too much evil on it. And also she got hate mail. She says not worth it. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I think? When I talk about cases, all I'm trying to do is to raise awareness. And I know, because I'm getting hate mail as well. So especially on Facebook. Or on Facebook, oh my God, it's just unbelievable how some people can be. But then there are other people who just don't seem to want to understand that all we are trying to do is to raise awareness. I am not talking about everyone, I'm talking about myself, and that's the reason why I started my YouTube channel. All I'm trying to do is to raise awareness and try and not bring justice, because most of the times what I'm talking about, the cases are already, they've already gone past the bringing justice point. But at least the story to be heard, because for example, look, Gabriel Fernandez, that boy, oh my God, it still affects me to this day. But he deserves someone to talk for him. He deserves people to know that he's been let down by everyone really. So many people could have come forward and saved him, but nobody did. That's why I'm trying to do this. And it's very hard because kids are involved, right? And especially when you have kids of your own as well, you think, how can someone do something so evil to a child? It's just, no. No, I'm gonna stop here because, sorry, Robert is saying, I think he acted alone. What? Robert, he might have acted alone in doing what he did, but I think that his motive was his mistress, if I'm honest. And I think that he just wanted to be free on his own without the responsibility of children and wife. El Canton is asking, hate mail, what are they angry about? Like I said, you might not be familiar with the Madeleine McCann case, but this is the hate mail I'm getting about the Madeleine McCann case. And it's mostly in these Facebook groups where one is creating this post because he knows that he is instigating a fight against me and my opinion on the case. And this is how all it starts. And then I'm getting bullied, and then I'm getting, belittled and all these kind of things. So I'm kind of used to it, because sometimes even hearing the truth, some people don't like hearing the truth or a different opinion to theirs. So yeah, this is the hate mail I'm getting at the moment, and also a few comments here and there on Chris Watts on my YouTube channel. Lisa is saying, after the Watts case, my views changed on the Madeleine case, as if Chris Watts can do that, any parent can do it. Exactly, yes, you are right. If I would have seen Chris Watts, never in a million years would I think that he would be capable of doing that. Never, never, never. And this just goes to show that even sometimes, even your own partner, you cannot trust. Lisa is saying, I think your videos are so informative about the Maddie case. Thank you. Thank you so much. El Canton, wow, I'm so sorry. That's all right. That's fine. I'm not upset in any way about it. I do appreciate when people have different opinions and when they are debating. I just don't appreciate those kind of people who just they decide instead of debating peacefully, they just offend. But it's fine. I've gotten used to it, and also I have to remember that I'm putting myself out there, so these kind of things, they can be expected. Just Peachy is saying, I agree that his mistress was motivation for him to commit that hideous crime. Yes, I agree. Julie Power is saying, have they looked under the patio? While the chief of police was saying that they've looked everywhere they can in that house, in the backyard and everywhere. I'm not quite sure about the patio, but he did say that the house has cemented foundation. So that would prove very difficult to look into. My initial thoughts were as well that what if they dug up the garage flooring where is the cement foundation, and maybe they buried the children in there and then they poured cement over them. But then I asked my husband, is that possible? And then fix the ground in such a way that you don't see a difference. And my husband was saying that you can do it, but there will be a difference on the ground. So you will be able to tell that something, was fixed there. Lisa is saying it's so frustrating as it's been years and years and she will never be found. Yes, it's very frustrating. I don't think she will ever be found. And I think even if they do, even if they charge Christian Bruckner with it, I think that he is just a scapegoat. Lisa, did they look into the dead going out in the car? Remember what the public asked the policeman they were interviewing? He said he would look into it. You mean Trizell when he went in the van, or? Sorry, I lost the. El Canton is saying the chief seems uninformed to me. He said they frequently check the home, yet he didn't know that it was boarded up. Yes, he knew only about the window which was broken into, that it was boarded up. He said that they go there, well, quite often. But the reporter, she is the one who is going there on a daily basis, and she told the chief of police that actually all the windows are boarded up. So, yeah. Robert is saying the house is on a slab. They would have noticed new cement. Your husband is correct. Yeah, so yeah, that's why I don't think either that they are buried there underneath the house. I think that for the short time they've been there, 3 months or so, is just it's a short time to be, to be thinking to hide and then to dispose of them and then try to make it look like nothing was disturbed. Lisa, yes, they have moved out of this house they were staying in. So they moved from Cal City back to Bakersfield. Also, that footage, the neighbors' footage, where you mentioned about the van, Trezor getting in the van, that is also on AV Watchman's YouTube channel. And the chief of police said that they are looking through hours and hours of body cam footage and also of neighbors' footage, which I think includes that same footage of Trezor going into the van. I've also seen another footage on AV Watchman's channel from the same neighbors footage where you can see only 4 children getting into the van from the house. El Canton is asking, what about the sawdust and tons of empty liquor bottles in the garbage? You know what, El Canton, the chief of police, he was not very detailed with everything they collected. However, he did say that they collected bags and bags of evidence, which they are going through right now. So, if I'm honest, I would assume that they did collect those as well. Well, that's what I would do anyway. Lisa is saying, sorry, are they still living there whilst the case is going on? Sorry, I mixed up with talking about the windows being boarded up. Yeah, 4 kids going to grandma's. So the adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline, it's still their house in Cal City, but they moved out from it. And I think they did that because they are scared, because a lot of people were throwing, stones to the windows and things like that. And they went back, I think only temporarily, in Bakersfield to stay. Yes, yeah, 4 kids going to grandma's, yes. Lisa is saying they will have something, I think, on this case we don't know about. Lisa, yes, I do agree with you. I believe the same thing. I also think that even though they do have more, incriminating evidence or more concrete information, they will not release that. Maybe they don't want to, scare off a potential suspect. So I think that they would rather just build up the case until they are certain, and yeah, maybe just come out publicly when they've done all their investigation and they sort of agreed or on a suspect, on a potential suspect. Sometimes you can damage your own investigation if you come out publicly too soon. Well, they did speak with a lot of people, with the neighbors in Bakersfield. They spoke with neighbors in Cal City as well. So they did speak with a lot of people. They've also searched a lot of areas, including what the chief of police was saying, 5 miles of desert around the Cal City house. Robert, watch the duty run. He's very caring and thorough. The chief of police, of course, can't say what evidence they have, but I don't think I'd want him as chief in my town. Something off about him. I'm not sure I got that about him. What I got about him, in my opinion, I'm not quite sure that he would be best suited to lead this investigation, if I'm honest. Lisa is saying, is it just me or is this case too obvious? Is the mom and dad, no talk of anyone else? Hmm. Now that you put it like that, yes. That's strange. Al Canton is saying it's possible that one or both adoptive parents hurt one of the boys and the other one witnessed it, so they got rid of both of them so he wouldn't tell. That is possible as well. I was also thinking about another possibility, if I'm honest. Can it not be that maybe one of the other kids did something by accident? Say, for example, if their biological children were playing together and they playfully did something by mistake which caused an accident which led to their death, and being the biological children, they would do anything they can to cover that. Ooh. Lisa is also saying, then again, Shane on the Heidi Broussard case, we all thought it was him that killed Heidi. I am not familiar with that case, if I'm honest, but now that you mentioned it, I will have a look to see what it's about. Lisa is saying, I agree with you on that, but an accident with one, yes, but two, highly unlikely. Yes, yes. You see, that's why I keep changing my mind here, because even I don't know what to believe. In a sense, it does make sense, but then when you think about it, it doesn't make sense anymore. So it's quite confusing. But I do believe that the other children, the four other children, do know what happened. But I think that they were scared into staying silent. They were scared off into staying silent and not saying anything. El Canton is saying so many possible scenarios. Yes, yes, there are. Lisa is saying, oh, Catalina, there was a terrible thing that happened to that girl and her baby. Look into it. It's interesting. I will definitely have a look. Let me just copy this from here so I remember the name, because I am horrible at remembering names. I'm lucky I still remember mine. So where was it? Yes. That's okay, Lisa. I'll sort it out. It's fine. Al Canton is asking, do we know if the other four children are still in custody? You mean in the custody of the parents or the custody of social services? As far as I know, they are in custody of social services. I'm not quite sure if they have been interviewed. The chief of police was not saying anything about that. Heidi Broussard. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. I will save it now. Oh my God, I can't believe my memory is so bad. Oh, there you go. It's saved now. Well, as far as I'm aware, yes, they are still there. Yes. I might be wrong, but as far as I am aware, they are still there. I was really frustrated, when I was listening to this, watching this interview with the chief of police, and he is avoiding at all costs to give out any sort of, proper information. But he is adamant that something happened with the boys and that it was foul play. And also, he can say for certainty that someone knows what happened with the boys, and he also believes that someone will come forward at one point. I think that there's just so much guilt you can take. Robert, yes, everyone knows it's foul play. I agree. Although, sometimes even if everyone knows it's foul play, if you don't have enough evidence, you still can't do anything about it. We know so well from the Madeleine McCann case. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining today's live. I really do hope that we'll find out soon what happened with Orrin and Orson. For now, guys, please stay safe and take care. Marcial is saying, I was wondering if you in the home. You mean in the older apartment, in the apartment in Bakersfield? Well, all I know is that AV Watchman, he took an interview with a neighbor from Bakersfield, and he said that even there he didn't see any of the children. So, yeah. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining again. Take care and stay safe. I really have to go. Is like what 10:30? Yes, and my 4-year-old is waiting for me. So, Robert, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. See you next time. Take care, guys. Bye.